Welcome and welcome back. We're here to review The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 7, Chapter 15, The Believer. So, there's a lot going on in this episode thematically that I think is worth talking about, but there's not a whole lot of actual... I can assume that this episode will be referred to as filler. I can understand that. I can see that. However, I will say that this seems to be one of the more full episodes when it comes to symbolism, when it comes to nuance in acting, especially as we get to see the Mandalorian's face. But the first little bit of that we get is upon Mayfield's rescue or breakout, or they paid his bail, right, from the prison. He understands that he is going to battle with the Empire, or what is left of the Empire, the remnants of the Empire, and he looks back over his shoulder at the prison planet like, hey, this wasn't all that bad. Maybe I should just stay here. And in fact, he goes ahead and says that. He goes ahead and says, you know what, I'll just go back. Take me back. I don't want to go to battle with this Moff Gideon character. And where that leads is to a mining planet. Now, when we talk about mining, what are we doing? We're going underground or into mountains, whatever it is, either way. We're not living on the surface being honest living in tune with our values. We are underground, deeper underground. We are burrowing in to find something valuable as opposed to cherishing what is on top, what is the honest living, which is a little bit what we're doing in this series in general. But what they do, they have to assume the role of these mining troopers or minor stormtroopers or however you want to refer to them. What color is the outfit, the uniform, the armor of these mining troopers? It's gray. It is not light, it is not dark. In Star Wars, the light versus the dark, white versus black, you have gray outfits, which these individuals, Mayfield and Mando, are forced to adopt. And in these suits, we have Bill Burr talking about a gray morality. Look, do you not take your helmet off? Or do you not show your face? Because they're different things, right? They're different things. You got this gray morality, this weird thing that you've come up with. It's not good or bad. It's just what you do to do what you do. We have the Bill Burr character invoking the fact that, hey, I'm a survivor, just like you. This is a callback way back to Season 1, when a little bit of this is the way is sort of aimed at what it means, this is the way. Part of what that is aimed at is survival. We survive. I think the armorer said exactly that during the fight between Favreau's character and Din Djarin. The Heavy Trooper, I think, is what it was called. So we have all of this talk about gray morality. There is no ultimate right in what we're doing. There is no ultimate wrong in what we're doing. What we're doing is just surviving. And we're adopting a gray armor. So it is morally ambiguous, the armor itself. Moving forward from that, when we are forced to reconcile what the values of the show are, what the values of Din Djarin are, we are forced to wrestle with the values of the Mandalorian in general. Remember back in the Jawa episode of Season 1, Weapons Are My Religion. We are forced to reminisce on that. We are forced to revisit that in our own minds because the weapons, being part of his religion, are sort of like the helmet being part of his religion. Is this good? Is this bad? Is this just the character doing what the character is doing? To tie into that, ironically, we have this big battle scene with all of these raiders who are coming to these pirates, who are coming not to steal the, I can't remember the name of the element that they're carrying, but the very explosive element. They're not coming to steal it, the very valuable element. They don't want it. They want to explode it, to get the Empire off of their planet. Are they the pirates? Or is the Empire the pirates? The Empirates. So they're not stealing it. They don't want the money. They're just blowing them up. Well, when you blow it up, you kill people too. The pure desire of wanting their own planet back is muddled by the willingness to kill in order to get it back. Falling further down this spiral, this moral purity spiral, we are forced. So they're done. They're stuck. They're screwed. There's all of these pirates coming for them, and he's out of ammo, and they can't go any faster. And all of a sudden, TIE fighters show up, and we know just how badass TIE fighters are, right? But through all of Star Wars canon, TIE fighters have been the bad guy. However, here we are forced to root for them. Here we are forced to cheer the appearance of stormtroopers. Why are we forced to do this? Because it means the survival of our main characters who, look, he's not in Beskar. If that thing explodes, Din Djarin is dead. You may or may not care for Mayfield, but you probably, at this point, 15 episodes in, care at least a little bit about Mando, about Din Djarin, about our titular character, assuming that our titular character is the individual who is currently a Mandalorian, and not one who will become a Mandalorian, namely Grogu. So we have all of that going on, and we're forced to reconcile with the fact that we just cheered on TIE fighters, which basically in the Star Wars world, it's like cheering on a Nazi jet. You know, the Nazis had those powerful jets. And then we get this idea from the commander type individual. I don't know his rank. I don't know what it means. That Mayfield and Mando, Din Djarin, they are, hey, let's come have a drink. And Bill Burr starts going off a little bit, right, man? He's out there, man. He's getting his feelings pushed. He's getting testy. And the commanding officer says, look, do people want freedom or do people want order? People think they want freedom, but when everything breaks down, it's order they go for first. True enough. True enough. These are not false words. These are things that do make sense coming to us from a very evil guy. Freedom versus order. See, there's a lot of depth here. There's a lot of depth here as far as theme goes, as far as what does the show mean goes. This is different than Ahsoka Tano showing up and spinning a couple lightsabers around a whole lot. That's cool. That's nice to look at. Wasn't a whole lot on theme in that episode, at least not as much as here. Wasn't a whole lot to play with in your mind, at least not as much as there is here. And to come full circle with this, as Mayfield and the Mandalorian are being rescued from this scene by Boba Fett, Mayfield turns around and with a rifle, he's a sharpshooter, remember? He explodes the very carrier that they had risked their lives to save after hijacking in order to explode the Imperial base. So we've got a whole lot of full circle, sort of double entendre, sort of theme completing actions in that one little moment. Because at the end of it, Bill Burr is saying, especially at the very end of the episode when he's given his freedom, look, freedom is what's key, not order. Not the first order, huh? That's where we're going, it seems like. It themes like. So there's a lot going on there because they go from fighting off the Raiders to completing the Raiders' mission. So it is a full circle. Circles are awfully orderly. And we saw Mando take his helmet off. Now remember, and this is sort of heightened in your awareness in this episode because, and we're going to get back to this in a little bit, Boba Fett painted his armor. Who did not paint his armor? The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, Din Djarin, we are 15 episodes in with this sucker, and he's still got gray armor, morally ambiguous armor. This is not, quote-unquote, the way. We know that because we have seen other sects of Mandalorians who have blue armor, right? We have Boba Fett here who has green armor. So Din Djarin remaining morally ambiguous, what do we take from that? Especially as we look forward and we see, or backwards, I guess, in the episode, and we see that he was willing to take off his helmet. He was willing to break that code of the Mandalorian and allow other people to see him. Only one of those other people survived, Mayfield. But this was a character with whom he had shared that moment about moral ambiguity. So how will Din Djarin deal with this going forward? If he does, again, meet up with the armor, which we have to assume he will meet up with the armor. He will have to explain to her why there is a living individual who saw him without his helmet, why he broke that code. I am looking forward to this. I wonder where we're going with this sect of the Mandalorians in general. Now I want to talk about some just sort of random stuff with the episode, stuff that's not follow this central theme of the episode. Number one, Boba with the paint job. Looked really rich, didn't it? It looked really tactical, didn't it? It was interesting to see. Do we ever see his legs? Do we ever see his full outfit? Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I remember seeing the new paint job on the armor, but I don't remember seeing if he was... I don't think he was still wearing the Tusken Raider outfit underneath it, but I don't remember. That is interesting. I'll have to go back and see that. How did you feel about the paint job? I thought it was interesting. I think that it is emblematic of the fact that he is looking to restart. Boba Fett is looking forward to a new future. He's not just going to wear this beat-up bum armor because his armor has become bummish. He's going to paint it. He's going to take care of it. He's going to figure things out. I didn't notice, does it still have the dent in the helmet? I'll have to go back and look at that too. But he is taking care of that armor. It makes you wonder if Din Djarin will end up painting his armor, and if he does, what color will it be? Will it be green like the child? Green like Boba Fett? It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the color of the... I have to believe, look, one of the things that Star Wars has been about since the 70s is selling action figures. So we already have two incarnations of Din Djarin. We have him as he began the series, and we have him with all of the new shiny Beskar armor. How is he going to go forward? Every little bit of that armor that he paints will end up selling new toys, right? So it's going to be interesting. I think undoubtedly he will end up painting the armor. It'll be interesting to see what colors he picks, what thematically that says, and things like that going forward. The truck that the big old mining truck that they stole, I'm like 99% positive that was a G.I. Joe toy. I'm like 99% positive way back in the day that was a G.I. Joe toy. So it is interesting, maybe not, maybe I'm absolutely wrong. I'm just throwing this out there, but it would be interesting to see how many series have sprung up inspired by Star Wars toys, that now there is something in Star Wars inspired by a separate toy. Just interesting to think about. Another question I have: the commander that Bill Burr ended up freaking out and shooting. Serious, by the way, serious sort of PTSD action coming from Bill Burr in this episode, which I don't know if he had that sort of stuff going on when he was in the prison ship episode last season. But was that Joe Chill? Was that Joe Chill from Batman Begins? I couldn't tell. When he first showed up, it really seemed, I can't remember the actor's name, but it really seemed like Joe Chill from the Batman Begins movie by Christopher Nolan. But for some reason, as the episode went on, I didn't think it was him. So I'll have to go back and look at that. I didn't happen to catch the name there. I thought overall this episode was a little flat. I don't know why. It was 39 minutes, which is longer than last episode, but it still felt really short. It did not feel. It felt, and it kind of felt flat. I don't know why. I can't. I can't quantify that. I can't qualify that. But it did seem. It seemed like, so the scenes with Finnick and Cara Dune seemed flat. It seemed like there wasn't a whole lot of chemistry between the two of those individuals. Boba Fett did not seem to be as charismatic as he was in that previous episode. Also, to me, it seemed like the scenes with Bill Burr and Mando, when he's not in his Mando costume and he's just sitting there silently. I don't know what it is about that Mandalorian armor, but when he's silent in that Mandalorian armor, it really hits you in a different way than does the minor trooper armor. He seemed to just be in the Mandalorian armor. He seems to be telling you, "Hey, fuck off." In that armor, the body language seemed to be telling you, "Hey, I'm not paying attention to you." So it seemed, I don't know why. That's weird, but it felt that way to me. A big thing here for me, I was assuming that this season's season finale was going to be like a 4-part episode, because last season we got a 2 or a 3-part final episode type thing. Like the final saga of the season was either 2 or 3 episodes long. I thought we were going to get that here, but we're not even going to get a 2-parter. So it makes me wonder if the next episode is going to be super long, or if we're going to get a super big cliffhanger. I'm not looking forward to either of those. It does seem like what we're going to get is a Jedi teased at the very end of the episode, showing up on the Jedi planet as opposed to in a final battle with Moff Gideon. Where do we go from here? What is that final episode going to be? How is that final episode going to look? Where is that final episode going to take place? Are we actually going to get the confrontation with Moff Gideon? It is a little bit difficult for me to believe that is going to happen in the final episode without any other episodes to follow. Are we going to get a surprise 10th episode or 9th episode? I don't know. I do believe that next episode is the final of the season. So there's a lot of balls in the air here to be leaving at this point. I have faith that they're going to stick the landing. They have every time thus far, but it is difficult to see that happening. It is going to be upsetting if everything from this season is left on a cliffhanger. That I don't want to see. I want to see at least something tied up. So I don't know. That is all I have for this episode of The Mandalorian. I hope to see you back next week for the season finale.